What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we are checking out the brand new Stand Solex Clicker, which was just dropped here in 2025. Now, if you guys remember my review video on the original Stand Solex, that was definitely one of my top recommended index style releases because it did give you a high level of adjustability on the trigger tension and trigger travel settings. And new in 2025, they've improved upon this design by adding the click feature, which they rolled out in collaboration with Joel Turner from Shot IQ on the Onyx platform. Now, you guys already know that being that this is a collab with Joel Turner, this release is being heavily marketed towards anyone who struggles with target panic or just happens to get a little punchy on an index style trigger. But the question is this really going to help solve target panic or trigger punching? And we'll address that a little bit later in this video. But first, let's talk about the specs and features and what you can expect if you are looking to pick up this release in 2025. Now, this release is going to be available in two different configurations. You can pick it up in their connected metal version and then also their web version. I'm personally a huge fan of the web version because I do feel like it gives you a wider range of adjustment to get the release head in the proper position, so you can really hook in and settle in on this release. It's also a great option for anyone that has smaller hands, or if you have any youth shooters that are looking for a higher end index style release. Keep in mind that this release comes in at a very affordable price point. Sunrise Archery does have these in stock. You can pick them up for roughly about 139 bucks. Now, both releases are going to come with Stand's high quality leather buckle strap. I'm a huge fan of this strap for a couple reasons. A, it does offer padding throughout the wrist strap itself, so it's going to keep it from cutting into your wrist as you're going through your draw cycle. The buckle on it is also very nice because it does secure the tag end, and then you can see that it is Xbox stitched in the areas that matter most and that are going to see the most amount of load as you're going through your draw cycle. Now, when it comes to the connected metal version, which I have here, keep in mind that you can adjust the release head to get this in position. There is a small set screw on this release which you'll unlock, and then you'll be able to turn this release to either lengthen or shorten that head, again, to get it into the proper position to ensure that you can really hook into this release. Now, this release is going to come with their 440C stainless steel hook and trigger system, which is DLC coating, which does have a higher hardness. It also has a higher corrosion resistance because of that DLC coating, and then also it just makes everything stay super lubricated, so it's going to maintain consistency throughout the life of this release. And then when it comes to the adjustment of this release, just like the original Solex, you do have the ability to adjust the trigger tension and then also the trigger travel. When it comes to the tension adjustment setting, you're going to locate the set screw on the side of the release just under the C, indicating that you've purchased the clicker version, and clockwise is going to increase tension, making the release colder, and then counterclockwise is going to decrease tension, making the release hotter. Now, when it comes to the travel adjustment screw, Stan is doing something a little bit different when compared to most manufacturers, in the sense that they use a self-locking travel adjustment pin, which is allowing you to achieve 2 times more precise micro adjustments on that travel setting when compared to an 8/32 set screw. Now, keep in mind with this release, you do want to have a little bit of travel in the system because that's what's going to allow you to settle on that trigger, hit that click, and then you can kind of focus on just adding a little bit more pressure until the release breaks. If you guys go too far on that travel adjustment setting, you will deactivate that click. And then keep in mind, the distance or the travel from the click to the fire is predetermined from the manufacturer, so that is set. You cannot change it. And that's just to ensure that the release maintains consistency as you play around with that trigger tension and trigger travel setting. Now, when talking about the features of this release, it does come with a single sear design, making this release very, very crisp. And that's something that Stan is known for across the board on all of their releases. Now, they did carry over the positive reset trigger system, which they rolled out on the original Solex, which I'm a huge fan of. Basically, once the release fires, all you need to do is press down the trigger again, and it's going to reset the hook. Keep in mind that the hook does utilize a spring. The only thing that spring is doing is just returning that hook to the fire position, allowing you to basically press that trigger down and again reset that hook so you can make another follow-up shot or send another arrow downrange. Now, one thing that Stan did very well on this release, and this really plays into anyone that is planning on using this release for hunting. Say you're settling in on an animal and you engage that click and you're waiting for him to hit an opening, but he cruises past it for whatever reason, and you kind of got to back off that trigger. When you back off and then go ahead and re-engage it, you're going to hit that click again, and then you know that you can just squeeze through until that shot breaks. I like that feature a lot because you do not have to change your shot process again if you're waiting for that optimal window of opportunity on an animal. Whereas if you compare that over to a hinge, once you hit the click, most manufacturers do not give you the ability to reset it. So like I said, Stan definitely did a really good job on that feature. And then lastly, Stan is utilizing their patent pending suspension system, which is keeping everything super tight on the inside. Nothing's going to move around on you, and again, it's going to maintain consistency throughout the life of this release. Now next, let's talk about if this release is going to be beneficial for anyone who struggles with target panic or happens to get a little bit punchy on their trigger. So next, let's go ahead and answer whether or not I feel like the Stan Solex Clicker is going to be the best release to overcome target panic. Now, we did just post a video last week specifically talking about target panic, where I gave you guys my top recommended shooting drill that you can try before you start making investments on other types of releases to help overcome target panic. Now, assuming that you've taken those steps and you are now at the point to where you feel like you have to purchase another product, I do feel like the Stan Solex Clicker would definitely be a good option, especially if you are someone who gets real punchy on an index style release. I feel like adding the click to your shot process and knowing that once you hit that click, all you need to do is apply a little bit more pressure to get the release to go off will definitely help people. I am actually planning on picking this release up specifically for my wife, who is struggling with target panic and who does struggle getting a little punchy on her index style trigger. Keep in mind, the one that she is currently using is probably middle of the road as far as budget goes, and it does not really give her the ability to adjust the trigger travel. She only has a trigger tension setting. So like I said, adding this release with a click, I feel like will probably help her overcome that. She is also going to try a resistance activated release, which in my opinion is probably the best release to use to overcome target panic because you do not have a trigger. Now, obviously, there are various types of releases out there depending on the form of target panic that you are dealing with. But like I said, if you are someone who gets punchy on an index style trigger, I do feel like the Stan Solex would be a great option. Now, keep in mind, this is coming in at a very affordable price point, so it doesn't feel like you're really spending top dollar to get a really high quality release. Now, these are available at Sunrise Archery. You can go up there, check them out, try them out, and see if it's going to be the right release for you here in 2025. But that's going to be it for this video. If you guys have any other questions, you know you can leave me a comment below. You can always reach out to me directly on Instagram. I'm always happy to help. And if you guys have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Your guys' support greatly helps us out, keeps us doing what we're doing. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you on the next one.